Top 5 times actors completely reinvented themselves. In nearly every aspect of life, change is necessary in order to make progress and survive. These actors who reinvented themselves prove that even A-list stars need to change in order to maintain a successful and long career in the tumultuous land known as Tinseltown. Therefore, don't forget to watch today's video to the very end as we bring you the top 5 times actors completely reinvented themselves. Number 5. Scarlett Johansson. From child star to indie romantic lead to mainstream action star, Scarlett Johansson has enjoyed one of the most lucrative and diverse careers in Hollywood. The New York-born actor made her cinematic debut in 1994's infamous North. She continued to work steadily throughout the 90s as a child actor. A couple of her early films include Manny and Lo and If Lucy Fell. One of her first starring roles came in Terry Zwigoff's offbeat buddy dramedy Ghost World in 2001. Johansson's big breakout performance came just a year later in Sofia Coppola's Oscar-winning sophomore effort Lost in Translation. The popular indie film immediately made Johansson a household name and showed the world at just 19 years old that she could hold her own with the likes of Bill Murray. The actor won a Golden Globe for her performance as the lonely married young woman adrift in Tokyo who finds a friend in Murray's middle-aged and depressed Bob Harris. The actor also impressed in the critically acclaimed Girl with a Pearl Earring. A string of big Hollywood movies, including Christopher Nolan's The Prestige and Michael Bay's The Island, mixed in with more independent films, including 3 Woody Allen movies, Matchpoint, Scoop, and Vicky Cristina Barcelona, makes up most of Johansson's early to mid-2000s resume. All the while, Johansson became one of the biggest sex symbols of her generation. Johansson made her official entrance into the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Black Widow in 2010's Iron Man 2. The actor went from mostly moderately budgeted independent movies to blockbusters. She reprised her superhero role in several additional MCU installments: The Avengers, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, Captain Marvel, and Avengers: Endgame, and eventually her own standalone film, Black Widow. Johansson returned to her dramatic indie roots in 2019. She received 2 Academy Award nominations in the same year for her heart-wrenching performances in A Marriage Story and the offbeat comedy Jojo Rabbit. Number 4. Robert Downey Jr. From indie darling to unhireable punchline to global superhero. In the 1980s and early 90s, Robert Downey Jr. established himself as not only a rising star, but one who could really act. Among his best performances are Less Than Zero and the biopic Chaplin, a role that earned Downey an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. In the mid-1990s, Downey fell into a pattern of infamous off-screen behavior. He was arrested multiple times on different charges that included possession of coke and heroin. After several failed attempts at recovery, he told a judge in 1999, "It's like I have a shotgun in my mouth and I've got my finger on the trigger, and I like the taste of the gunmetal." After spending time in prison, Downey put himself on the path to rebuilding his life. He starred in a string of independent films that may not have dominated at the box office, but proved he was an incredible talent that deserved another chance. The actor shined in David Fincher's Zodiac and Shane Black's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the latter of which caught the eye of director Jon Favreau, who was looking to cast the lead for his new superhero movie Iron Man. In 2008, Iron Man hit the big screen and almost immediately made Robert Downey Jr. the biggest movie star on the planet. The actor would reprise his dual role as Iron Man, billionaire Tony Stark, for 3 additional Iron Man installments and several Avengers movies. Downey's movies have raked in over $14 billion worldwide and made the actor one of the biggest box office draws in cinema history. Number 3. Liam Neeson. From prestigious leading man to wise mentor to intense action star. Liam Neeson's big breakout role came as Oscar Schindler in Steven Spielberg's 1993 historical epic Schindler's List. The handsome Irish actor earned an Academy Award nomination and embarked on the path to being a serious dramatic leading man. Neeson's 1990s, early 2000s dramatic roles included starring turns in Rob Roy, Nell, Michael Collins, Les Miserables, and Gangs of New York. George Lucas cast Neeson to play Jedi Master Qui-Gon in Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace. Qui-Gon was responsible for serving as a mentor and trainer for young Anakin Skywalker to help him find the Force. The mentor role fit like a glove with Neeson, who took on similar roles in Batman Begins and Kingdom of Heaven. Then, a funny thing happened to Neeson in 2008 when the actor was already well into his 50s. He became an action movie star. After playing a retired CIA operative in Taken, Neeson proved he had a very particular set of skills, or in other words, he can kick ass. Taken raked in an unexpected $229 million at the box office on just a $25 million budget. Neeson appeared in 2 additional Taken installments which totaled over $1 billion worldwide. His career's second act was just getting started. He went on a run of blockbuster big-budget movies like Clash of the Titans and The A-Team. In the 2010s, he became an action movie staple, starring in the likes of The Grey, Nonstop, Run All Night, and The Commuter. In 2020, at the age of 68, Neeson said he wasn't done making action films. He simply loves the genre and believes that he still has more fight left in him. Number 2. Drew Barrymore, from precocious child star to Hollywood bad girl to rom-com darling. Old Hollywood is in Drew Barrymore's blood. Her grandfather was 1920s movie star John Barrymore Sr., and her father was actor John Drew Barrymore. Her great-uncle was Oscar winner Lionel Barrymore, best known as the malevolent Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful Life. Her godfather is Steven Spielberg, who cast the actor in his 1982 hit E.T. the Extraterrestrial when she was just 7 years old. The actor became the little darling of America. Drew cashed in on her fame with a pair of Stephen King adaptations, Firestarter and Cat's Eye. However, with the young actor's mega success came the Tinseltown party scene. Barrymore's mother, Jade, took her 9-year-old daughter to Hollywood parties, and the youngster started getting into drugs and alcohol. She went to rehab following a suicide attempt at 14 and already had enough material at the age of 16 to write an autobiography, Little Girl Lost, detailing her plunge into addiction. Following treatment in the early 1990s, Barrymore began taking on quintessential bad girl roles in the likes of Poison Ivy, Gun Crazy, and the Western comedy Bad Girls. At the age of 19, Barrymore posed nude for the January 1995 issue of Playboy and had a notorious topless appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. But as a bit more time passed, the actor seemed to become more centered and went on to star in a collection of successful films like Boys on the Side, Mad Love, and Scream. In 1998, Barrymore teamed up with Adam Sandler, and the pair began a successful romantic comedy run starting with 1998's The Wedding Singer. They made 2 additional rom-com hits, 50 First Dates and Blended. Barrymore also found romantic big-screen love in Never Been Kissed and Fever Pitch. In 2000, the actor appeared in the high-octane action movie Charlie's Angels, which she also produced. Barrymore has become a powerhouse in Hollywood. She started her own production company in 1994 called Flower Films and made her directorial debut in 2009's Whip It. In the fall of 2020, she added talk show host to her impressive resume with her syndicated The Drew Barrymore Show. Number 1. Kristen Stewart, from rising child star to Twilight icon to international art house fave. In 2002, director David Fincher cast a 12-year-old Kristen Stewart to co-star alongside Jodie Foster in his atmospheric thriller Panic Room. Her talent was obvious and several stronger performances followed, among them Zathura, A Space Adventure, The Messengers, and Into the Wild. The trajectory of Stewart's entire life and career forever changed when she landed the role of Bella Swan in 2008's Twilight. The first film in the YA vampire-themed franchise grossed over $400 million worldwide. No one expected the movie to be that big of a hit. It made instant movie stars out of Stewart and her co-stars Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner. The actor appeared in 4 additional Twilight movies. None of the films were ever critical darlings, but they weren't made for critics. Teenagers, in particular teenage girls, could not get enough of all things Twilight. When Twilight wrapped and Stewart bid adieu to Bella forever, her career could have gone a bunch of different ways. She was already one of the most bankable and highest-paid stars in Hollywood. Stewart could have easily cashed in on her built-in Twilight audience with blockbuster films. Instead, the actor chose the independent, low-budget film route. One of Stewart's most impressive performances occurred in the drama Clouds of Sils Maria. She became the first American woman to ever win the César, the French National Film Award. Stewart spent most of the remaining 2010s squarely situated in acting roles in what would be considered independent or lower-budget movies. Her most lauded performances include Still Alice, Cafe Society, Personal Shopper, Certain Women, and Seberg. With that, we end today's video. Join in next time for more of such interesting content.